Here we have the XM24. This one's brand new. Probably made in February of 22. It's the Coyote G10. The Battle Blue. I actually thought this was going to be a stonewash knife, but it's the working finish. On the Hinderer website, it didn't actually, either I ordered it too fast or something, but the one that they show that's exactly this model, the Bowie XM24 with Battle Blue with tan, is they don't actually give a description of the finish, so oh well, it doesn't really matter. I think it's still a stonewash. Actually, it's just, it's not as smooth of a stonewash, the battle or the working finish. Excellent craftsmanship as usual. Everything's matching up, and it'd be kind of cool if they did something with the titanium on the working finish. I have the Stonewash XM18, and I think the silver hardware looks really good. Maybe if they had like a, well, maybe, I mean, it does give it some nice contrast for polish, because if you didn't have that, you know, the whole thing, it'd look kind of, have that certain tone look to it. So, but this is a pretty sweet looking knife in person. I just like to let people see it. Don't talk too much. Got the tri-way, that's what that logo means. If people don't know, that means you can run bearings, Teflon, or phosphor bronze. Hinderer's been doing a lot of CPM 20 CV, which is pretty awesome steel. It's essentially rust proof and wears really long and whatnot. So I think that's ideal in a folding knife. I mean, if you were legit working it in a shop every day cutting leather, maybe you'd want to get the walnut handle and 01 tool steel series, but even then you'd have to touch it up throughout the day. But that's 01's definitely a good working steel, but only if you're using it all the time. Let's pop this thing open. It's got a real strong detent, the 24s do. This is the Bowie blade shape. I actually really like the Bowie blade shape. I like the recurve blade shape too. The Spanto would be a neat one, but I don't know if I need that kind of strength going down to the edge in the tip. I don't know if I'm going to be, you know, using the knife in that manner. And this still has an extremely strong tip. I mean, you can see how reinforced that is right there. Blade thickness on this is a bit thicker than the 24. I should have brought the other one out to put them side by side, but it's essentially, one is 165 and then this one is 185. So, I mean, it's a slight difference. I would say the thickness behind the edge on this grind is a little bit more so than on the recurve. The recurve is almost a slicer grind with a recurve in it, whereas this is just about a 50 grind. Without the actual Spanto aspect of it. It's got a real nice pokey tip on it and nice slicey tip there and a good bit of straight edge on it. So, I mean, whatever you were gonna do with it, attack a banana or an apple. I think it'd make pretty good woods knife. You know, if you're gonna choke up on it like that and put some good pressure down on there, making some shavings or something. The tip's not ideal for like checking trees or something. It's not that the tip isn't strong, it's just I feel like the shape is kind of too penetrating for that. If that makes any sense. I feel like the Tanto tip on my Chinese titanium frame lock, if you know what I mean, is better for checking trees. I feel like that's like the ideal tip for some reason. See the bearings in the pivot there. Pretty darn smooth. It's got some wicked early lockup on it, but it's bang vault solid. There isn't any movement anywhere on it. The 24's got some pretty early lockup too, or 18 that I have, sorry. And they're both produced around the same time. I think they did a run of 18 recurves and then they switched directly over to 24s. But they did throw a run of half tracks in there too. So Hinderer must jump around quite a bit. There's some videos out there of him in his shop, and his shop's getting pretty advanced. And that was a few years ago. It might be even bigger now. You can see the jimping there. It's looking about really good. About perfect. The way everything lines up. I mean, there's a lot more parts to this knife than there is a Chris Reeve. And he's still turning out about the same level of quality, if not more so. I mean, I haven't measured anything, but the way this knife locks up, I mean, it's bank vault. Love the texture on the G10. Again, this is about the same size as the Strider SMF. I used to carry one of those all the time, daily. I feel like this is definitely a better knife. It's a flipper. The SMFs that I used, they were older, so they had a lot of thickness behind the edge, and they weren't exactly cutters. And this isn't either. I mean, when you're holding it like this and you're trying to peel an apple or something, you know, you can choke up. But it's definitely more to deal with. I mean, I cut some food with 18, especially that recurve. That was like it's designed to cut round objects. So, I mean, it peeled an apple like a pro. A good bit thinner behind the edge. The recurve's almost a slicer grind with a recurve in it, so definitely cuts. This one is a little bit thicker, but it still totally cuts. It's just thicker. It's weird. So take that for what it is. It's definitely a good hard use knife. Dialed in.